That's a setting you have to do.
Okay.
The YouTubes. Okay. It started.
Hey, there we go. Well, better. We'll make it work. Okay, so they can't see. They can see this. So let's go. Let's bring this guy over here.
It's a big lag.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. But
well, that's weird.
See how long it takes.
That's got a good 20-second lag.
Here's our chat. Where did it go?
Right
there. Oh, I have to have this box open. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's funky, though.
Interesting. And then there's something on the screen up there.
Oh, there we go. It gives people a chance to get in anyway.
Yeah.
All right. I think
you got something on the screen up there.
Oh, finally.
In the corner.
Huh?
In the
oh. All right. So we got that up there. Let's drag this over here. All right, that should be all I need over there.
Okay. You got your Twitter going. No, it fixed itself. I don't know what to look
at. Okay. Where to start? Well, I guess we can start with my ex. And we'll scroll back a little bit. So I saved all this stuff to be able to go over some of it. We'll start with some of the modern guys and work our way back. All right. So I guess we'll start with Chris Reed, since he blocked me on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He blocked me in about 5 minutes, maybe less. It was impressive how quick he blocked me.
That's funny.
I got a screenshot, though, so I was happy about that. Because it was close. He almost got it, but... And so he's been accused of all sorts of things: drug use, abuse, false prophecies to control and manipulate people. So this was interesting. Chris Reed produced a note on his iPhone that was dated days before video and Sean Bolt's dropped. It was a prophecy about what I was going to do, even what shirt I would wear. This is an easy trick. Here's my prophecy from 10 years ago. Note the date. So, easy to fake, obviously, because they're winger.
I don't think we can do that in Android,
obvious.
Can we? That's an iPhone feature. We can't do that.
I don't know. I'd have never used an iPhone.
I don't think we can fake.
Quite see it.
We can change the dates, I don't think.
Our face is in the way. Oops. There we go. Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming it's got to be an iPhone thing, but I mean, there's probably an app that can do it too. You know, as this day and age.
Well, yeah, I don't know how to do any of that, but
well, if you're trying to make money off of it, you sure can. So then in 2 Septembers ago,
I remember the
Rick
Morningstar
Joyner
data.
Just throws Chris Reed under the bus.
Well, in the Morningstar stuff, it always concerned
Rick
me.
Joyner?
Yeah, it always
He's an odd one.
Always concerned me that people were okay with a TV broadcasting channel called Morningstar or Daystar to begin with. They just sound creepy.
I've heard his name around the charismatic circles for years, and it's always about a book he wrote.
Oh, I know who Rick Joyner is.
Oh, what was that book? It's a weird one that's like this fantasy, prophetic, supposed to be thing. I never actually read it, to be honest with you. But he's just made a dummy of himself through this whole thing, because he was supposed to step down, and Chris Reed was going to be the new guy.
The delay fixed itself. Look.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
look.
that's weird.
It's real time now.
Huh.
That is weird. It took a
All
minute,
right,
though.
cool. But yeah, I did set it to low latency, so that might have helped. I have no idea. But I mean, he's just looks dumb
Bukus, too,
because
though.
now he has to come back. I think he's back. I'm not really sure, but he's really old. Anyway, Chris Reed caught bringing in a prop for fake rose prophecy. This was interesting.
It always cranks me up because, like, growing up really from a cessationist background and everything, you know, I've seen these guys in passing and things like that. And as an adult, I've experienced some charismatic individuals, nothing to the extent of folks like this. But it always cracked me up, even watching them on television, you know, in the evangelical channels like Daystar and stuff, how in the links they would go. So, like, the one that comes to my mind that I have watched is like Perry.
Stone?
Yeah. Like Perry Stone. He's one, like, he's also in this crowd, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's a con artist as well, but it cracks me up because the links that they go to sell it make it less for somebody with discernment, makes it less believable, right?
You'd think.
You're trying to.
Do you remember Popov?
Yes, I know.
He got caught like red-handed with they caught his frequencies and stuff wearing earpieces, and they recorded the whole conversation with them. Still making money.
And that's insane, you know. But I mean, Perry makes
all you have to do is convince people that that's the devil, and they're just trying to destroy the work of the Lord.
You go to our thrift store here in town, and there's all of these dudes, the Rick Joyners, the Perrys, the Book Writers Guild, they, you know, tour each other to promote their books and stuff, and they all do it. They all, you know, all their books are at our thrift store.
Yeah, it's a good place for them. They're out of the trash.
So yeah, and NAR, like they're all involved in NAR too, the New Apostolic Reformation
Well,
movement.
that's because it was all started. That was started by Bob Jones,
right? And NAR is just the
Rick Joyner was involved with Bob Jones and Bickle, and Chris Reed was under Rick Joyner.
When even Brown has some NAR relations.
Yeah, he was part of that. He came. Dr. Michael Brown came out of the. No, he came out of the. Is it Pensacola revival?
Yes, but
down in Florida.
He talks about
that's the one where they were barking like dogs and licking the floor. But he denies that happened.
Right. And there's other people that have testified to it.
Yeah, and I believe there's pictures.
Oh, I'm sure in the, you know, modern era.
They were licking the blood of the Jezebel demons.
Which is, why are we doing that to begin with?
Stupid. Anyway, so Chris Reed is the former president and CEO of New Apostolic Reformation Mecca Morningstar Ministries. Recently announced that he was starting a new church, Jesus Revolution Church. Way to piggyback on a success of a movie, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
2 months after the married father of 6 revealed he'd engaged in sexual misconduct with one of his students. More to the point, Reed, a false prophet and spiritual con artist, is a crooked as ? And blah, blah, receives catalog words get from God. He maintains he received the vision from God that John the Apostle is still alive. I have heard this. This is not original to him.
No, and I don't believe that.
I know. I think I have a book where they talk about it, actually. But it's a very popular...
Correct.
And it's... Who cares? And roaming the earth today, all the while routinely engaging in crying fake mentalism displays. Even the charismatic apologetic channel Remnant Radio, which defends all manner of weird and behavior, disproves. Where I want to get to the story.
No, are you aware of Remnant Radio?
Yeah, I tried to watch him the other day, but the guy with the blonde hair, I just can't.
Right.
I can't get past the blonde hair.
I mean,
like, how old are you?
They do.
Why do you look like Eminem?
They have information, like they're good at what they do.
Yeah, there's something. It's a personal thing.
I understand.
It's not a theological thing. They irk me.
There's people like that. Your voice, I can't listen to you. You know, or
like they're so white.
I understand. I totally understand.
I don't know how else to say it, but and the blonde hair, man, you gotta change your hair. How old are you,
Mom? Can you see the stuff that we have up on the screen other than just us? Type yes or no in the chat, please.
Oh, here it is. He claims he saw the rose of Sharon before telling his congregation they're about to smell roses after he snaps his fingers. Okay, hold on a minute. Snaps his fingers. This is a common mentalist trick.
Yeah.
and hypnosis trick.
Which is what I mean.
Make note of that.
All of this, though, comes from a very new age background. So this level of spiritualism that's involved in it.
It's mixing psychology and spiritism.
And that's what the new age movement is.
I mean, if you look at a real mentalist, because look, these guys are not good mentalists. I'm talking like Oz, that guy, not Dr. Oz. He's just an idiot.
I mean, he knows
I'm talking about the Oz, the mentalist, or Spidey from the behavioral arts, or these guys that are, they're legit. Like, they know what they're doing. They're not idiots.
No.
These guys are just cheap. That's really the best way to describe them. Okay, I just saw He the Rose of Sharon. The Rose of Sharon, in the name of Jesus, I'm going to snap my fingers and somebody's going to smell roses. In the name of Jesus, how many of you smell it? Lift your hands, look at that, look at that. You can't force it to happen. You didn't smell it before, but you smell it now. Like this verbiage, you can't force that to happen.
Right.
You didn't. This is telling them
to do it.
What to think. This is how you program people with mentalism.
In a move so aghast that even Bethel Church would be. It's funny.
Hey, bro, I like this guy. I've talked to this guy. Hope to have him on the pod in the future. Cool dude. He's kind of sick right now, so pray for him. What isn't said, however, is that not only is finger snapping... Okay, I already said that. Even Bethel Church, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Outside observation were skeptical church members with one Insight user X posted. This guy is lying. First off, the Rose of Sharon is hibiscus, not a rose.
And it doesn't smell. I mean...
Second, has very faint floral scent. I saw him clicking something in his hand before I even realized what he was saying. If his congregation views as fool, they are in deep delusion. Okay, so you look at this picture.
It's got a little atomizer.
He's got something there that is clearly probably releasing scent of some...
Yeah, some kind of scent.
Who knows? It could just be a bag of rose petals, to be honest.
No, it's probably potpourri. The fart spray stuff.
But, come on. This is an old Bethel trick with putting feathers in the air duct and gold dust and planting people in the audience with rubies their teeth have been replaced with. Look, I have a story that actually connects to that now that I think about it. So I went to Bethel, and we went to their Saturday healing rooms against my will, more or less. I did not have any desire to do this nonsense. And I wrote, or they give you have to fill out a piece of paper before you go in there and sign it. And you have to tell them what you want prayed for, and
is it an NDA?
No, it's just a form, and then it tells you you're not allowed to pray for people. Only the designated ones are allowed to do the whatever. Blah,
Which
blah,
right
blah.
there should be the first red flag.
I don't remember if you had to sign it or not. I may not have. I don't think I had to sign it now that I think about it. I think it was just a weird paper, like a doctor paper.
And this is over 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah. This was in 2014.
Oh, okay. So like 11, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
It's before you and Melissa got married.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, long before that. This was when me and Bruce were just traveling and doing stuff. And we went there. His family's there, so we were already going there anyway. So we were like, yeah, let's go check it out. Because we had a church that was in Yuba City, California that is no longer there, that we were kind of friends with at that point in time. Things have changed. And they are no longer there. There's something else now entirely. But so I went to their healing room, and I wrote on the paper that, hey, pray for me to regrow teeth. That was it, because I know what they want.
Right.
The guy in the wheelchair, he wants to walk. No, I'm not giving you that. I'm not setting you up. If you want to pray for that, you put yourself on that hot seat, buddy. I'm not gonna set you up for it.
No,
I'll set you up to see if you'll pick it yourself.
You didn't even ask, bro.
If you are people that believe that you can just pray for whoever and they're going to get out of a wheelchair and walk, then I shouldn't have to request it.
Well, it's a spiritual form of it's a spiritual form of Calvinism.
That's the logic behind this, right? I shouldn't have to, because you should automatically want to do it.
Yeah, it's predestination with spiritual.
If I ask for something else and you don't pray for that, then it makes me wonder, you don't actually think that can happen, do you?
Correct.
Anyway, that's my point. And so I went in there, and this couple was the ones that prayed. Actually, they were very nice. I don't think they were bad people at all. They were really cool. And I got a word from the Lord for them. And I was like, okay. I was like, hey, guys, I know this is against the rules. but can I pray for you? And this guy was just like, yeah, sure, let me go get my wife. And I was like, okay. I was just given permission to break the rules.
Well,
Thank you very much. And I was like, all right, cool. So I prayed for them. I don't remember what I said, but hopefully it did some good. And I let them pray for me, of course. Still missing teeth, but I'm not saying the Lord can't do it either. But I'm
No.
saying He's sovereign and He'll do it at His own time.
Well, and what I want to just to reiterate what I was saying is when with people like that, we harp on coming from
We harp on everybody. What are you
yes,
talking
we do.
about?
But coming from a cessationist background, I really harp on like Calvin a lot to people, because I despise the doctrine of Calvinism in its entirety. But those people, like what we're talking about, these folks, they are just as guilty of a type of legalism that is just the same as predestination. It goes with what you were saying, right? Like,
I'd say the big difference is like for the John MacArthur and the Justin Peters like credit, I think they are true believers in what they say.
I do too.
They believe what they say. They
do
really
too.
do love the Lord and
For the most
blah
part.
blah blah. These guys love nobody but themselves.
But this is what I was
like
getting at.
these are con artists. They're
Correct.
not true believers.
No.
Now
no,
there
no,
are
no.
some in this vein
Congregation, maybe.
that are true, not in the congregation, but there are guys that speak that are phony, that are actually they believe that they drank the Kool-Aid, like they're fully bought in,
right? And it's a form of like spiritual legalism because to me the biggest danger with people like this is, and what I'm trying to get at is these people make me and put off well, you don't need to pray for that, or it's a type of uncertainty that's the same as predestination. And am I saved? Well, am I going to be healed? I must have demons. Something's wrong, right? It's the same outcome, and it makes you doubt your faith.
One's lemonade, one's grape Kool-Aid.
Right, but it makes you doubt they're both going to spike
Kool-Aid brand.
They're all going to spike your blood sugar. It's the same outcome.
We're getting that out of all the drinks. There's not going to be any more dyes. It's all going to be gone. We should scatter the CIA to the four winds.
That's what got his uncle killed.
I am in no way wanting to, just
9mm aspirins. But it is one of those things that.
Oh, good, we're not on TikTok.
It is one of those things that when you look at people like this, and it'll circle back to the Branhams and stuff that we're going to talk about.
I enjoy this too much for some reason. I didn't think I'd like live streaming, but even with I don't even know if there's anyone in there.
My mom's
I don't really
watching.
care. But I like it for some reason. I think the more people actually talk to me, I probably like it even more. And if they're snarky, I probably like it.
Well, I think we should still keep.
I do know something is you can't let people get out of control in the chat or we get in trouble for it.
That's why you have to have a moderator.
Right. But I'm just saying, I was talking to Doug on his live stream the other night. Did you watch it?
No, I didn't.
We went back and forth.
I talk to him in the chat all the time.
It was funny. I was talking to him about the Gone of Noah.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, but he bought a Benz instead because the flood was postponed due to his righteousness.
Yes.
But we're going to get them out of Ghana, too.
We should make my mom and Bruce.
Bruce wouldn't know what he's doing. My wife would do it. She knows how to do
my
that
mom
stuff
probably
good,
could figure it out
if we get to that point. But like I was watching Owen and he's like, whoa, we gotta calm
down in the chat. Yeah, I watch Asma Golden. He's the same way. He's like, calm down, guys. We can't say that in the chat. But he uses his Twitch chat when he does YouTube live streams.
Oh, so that's what the Kick is?
Yeah.
Is the new version of Twitch that's supposed to be less censored. Right.
And he uses that chat instead of his YouTube chat.
All like the Neon and Aiden Ross, all those guys are
Milo Speed or whatever his name is. ISO Speed.
ISO Speed.
Yeah.
ISO Speed.
Yeah.
So we'll go to Todd White.
Well, and he's a big one too. That's
Todd White. He's another good one because I've met him. I saw him speak 3 times, same city, different places. I will give him this. We went to their Power Love conference. It's supposed to be $45 a person, but if you cannot pay, you fill out a piece of paper and you're in. So I'll give them that. That's cool because most of them they don't give you that option.
No. So I want the money.
That's a great selling point.
But that says, sadly, this message from Todd inspired myself and many others who messaged me to, in fact, throw away the psych meds. It took me nearly 2 years to recover. Truly, I would love to see him apologize to all the students for this publicly and genuinely repent. I can forgive him as many others can and have as well, but it doesn't undo the damage done. Accountability will help.
So if you go and watch the 4-hour Mike Winger expose on Todd White, all this is in there. and I'll just give you the recap because it's very, very long. It's worth the watch if you're nerd about this like I am. Otherwise, it's probably just gonna bore you to sleep. I guess. Well, I wouldn't go to sleep to Winger. You might wake up screaming.
I don't know. His voice is calming.
Well, you'd wake up to a clip of Todd White and be like, "Oh, my legs are growing." Oh.
Probably be the opposite.
They shrunk.
It'd be like Dumbledore's hand.
Oh, that would be so funny if he started praying for people and they just started shrinking instead.
Well, and what I really...
It's funny because actually there's a lot of stories of these guys telling stories of the leg growing trick, which is a mentalist trick, by the way. I can do it and I don't need to heal you. And I could actually adjust your legs so they actually are even and they actually work, but it's more chiropractic and physical therapy than it is woo-woo.
Right.
Anyway, where was I going with that?
Don't know.
Consarn it. Todd White. Oh, the legs. So I've seen several guys tell the story of they prayed for one guy, the legs to grow, and the wrong leg grew out, and so then they had to pray more. The other leg grew out longer, and then this one evened out, and they gained like 2 feet.
What just cracks me up because when you look at like these guys, they are, to me, they're so damning in the way that they can lead people
They
to
don't
not believe.
Yeah, exactly. And it gets rid of the authentic. Because I know guys that have told that I trust, like Wade McCarg,
Right.
who have told me stories of seeing, legs that were curled behind somebody and they had cloudy eyes and they prayed for him and their legs came back out and their eyes got better.
Right.
And I believe those guys.
I do too.
But these guys,
Well, and I've seen...
I don't believe, especially because I've met them.
Right. And I've seen healing. I've seen somebody, they had a dog bite. It was red. It was infected. God told me to pray for them. I poured water out through my shofar onto their wound, and it closed up, and the infection went away.
Well, one of the coolest ones I ever saw was a friend of mine was mowing the church yard, and he stepped off the curb, and I watched his ankle
I remember
sideways and
one.
go. I mean, it looked ouchy, and he was hopping around in pain, and he put his leg up on my lap, and he said, "Pray for my ankle," and I thought he was just joking with me. I had to think of the right word.
Right.
PG. I'm trying, guys. Grace, right? Isn't that what we're... I digress. What was I talking about?
Ankles healed.
Ankles, yeah. And so finally I realized he was serious. And I was like, okay. So I prayed for his ankle twice, asked it to be healed. And he put his foot down. He started stomping it. I'm like, well, you might want to do
Right.
you might want to do that.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm good. And he starts jumping on it. Like, and this was a real story. And I was like, what's going on? Because I didn't think anything was going to happen, to be honest with you. And then he went back to mowing and he was fine.
In both those examples, who's in mine and yours, the lesson was for both of us, right? And because I was uncertain that Bobby's arm was going to heal. But when it did, literally by the time we got out of the river, onto the bank and into the car, it was already healed. Like,
I have other stories like that. Like I knew a guy that he had broke his tailbone, and I was staying with his family in Pennsylvania, and he was visiting, and I said, well, let me pray for you. And I prayed for him, and he started sitting up, getting up, sitting down, stand up, and he's fine. It kind of offended the people that were there, but it wasn't. I know God can do it.
absolutely.
And if it's his will, he'll do it. But I've had times where a guy asked us to pray for his kidneys because he was going in for some kind of surgery, and we're praying for him, and I heard the Lord say, I'm not going to heal him.
Right.
And I said, okay, then I'm done.
Well, one of the things that Brother Bruce has really helped me with, and I know that is a calling I have as an intercessor in prayer, is just because I want to pray for it doesn't mean I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
And it's
Can I and should
I
I?
are two different things, right? And in prayer, you have to know that, yes, God can do anything, right? He's sovereign, like Justin said.
Can you go protest in the streets of Minnesota? Yes, you can. Should you? Probably not.
Correct. Right. And so
Not right now.
I have prayed for all kinds of manner of things. And it is only in this past year and a half or so where God has really brought to the clarity of my mind that when you're given the gift of prayer, and like your prayers go to beyond the ceiling, right? Because a righteous man's prayers prevail much. That's a heavy calling. That's a heavy responsibility. You're not supposed to open the eyes of everybody who's blind when you walk
You
by
shouldn't
them.
cast your pearls before swine.
And that's
Do
really
as you're
what-
told.
Correct. And we always use that verse in relationship to evangelism. We don't use it in relationship to prayer.
And it should be used with evangelism more, because
I
instead
agree.
you got these crazy people, Todd White, who are like, you just go pray for everyone,
But you're not supposed
and
to.
yeah, I don't agree with that. If the Lord told you to do it, then do it. But if He's not telling you to do it, maybe ask.
Like
Ask, should I?
I
Can I?
don't pray for politicians. I don't pray for government
I
really.
would if I was told.
If I was told to, yes.
Right.
And I've prayed for individual politicians.
And that goes back to our series on how to hear the voice of the Lord.
Correct. Yes.
Because if you don't know that, then you're not going to get this.
And that's what these guys have misconstrued.
Go
right?
watch the episode.
They have taken a holy responsibility and they have gone the way of Balaam. They have taken their gifting.
Well, even Balaam was actually accurate. These guys are just dumb.
Yeah, but Balaam.
These are amateur magicians.
Yes, they're more Janus and Jamboree. But Balaam, he sold.
Now, I
his.
think there are ones that are like Balaam, that are fully aware that they are an agent of Satan. And I would say Joel Osteen would be one of those, because he's
absolutely.
smart, he's clever, he knows where to push, where not to push,
And to hold back.
And I think he's actually an agent. He's a plant. He knows who he's actually serving.
The other one is
These
Joyce
guys are
Myers.
just, yeah, maybe. It's a possibility. She's smarter than the rest. It's hard to tell which ones are a con and which ones are a,
see,
an agent.
with Joyce Myers and Paula White, to use both of them, they are both agents. I don't think they're con artists too, but they are agents. I think they knowingly know they serve the enemy. Joyce Myers, because of her authority over women, the way that she has presented herself for the last 2 decades, and then Paula White, just in her arrogance and association with NAR. Like, I willingly and knowingly believe, just like you said, Joel, Kenneth Copeland,
I don't know.
he's dumb. But
yeah, it's hard to tell with him too.
I think he knows what he's doing, and he is a warlock. He is a mason.
He could be a true believer. It's hard to say.
Oh, I don't believe Copeland is. He drank blood during COVID.
Well, fake, but
yes.
But these guys all do grandiose things like that for attention. It's hard to tell
With
who is a. I mean, they're both wolves in sheep's clothing, but one is pretending and one is actually a wolf. And both are wolves, but one's like a coyote, I guess.
That's a good way
You know
to
what I'm
look at
saying?
it.
One's a wolf, one's a coyote.
I think Kenneth Copeland's a wolf, not a coyote.
And
He's very close
so-
with Bob Jones too, though.
And Todd White.
Yeah.
Copeland, he calls Copeland his spiritual
Your father, correct.
And he also says he got baptized in the baptized by fire at a Benny Hinn
Yeah,
conference,
I
and he
did
went
know that.
flying like a few feet back. he
Benny
said.
is a great one too. Like, Benny is a wolf. I don't think he believes.
I think he's a con. Yeah, from the research I've seen.
So you think he's more coyote?
Yeah, because his nephew did a pretty good expose on
Yep.
him, and it looks like his is more like a desire to be important. It's actually very sad.
But do you think he believes what he's selling?
No,
Okay.
no, I think he's figured out a formula to make money.
See, and I believe Copeland is
And
different
to-
in the sense he believes what he's selling.
Benny wants to be important. He wants to feel.
I agree with
important.
that.
He
Look
wants
at how
people-
he's been since
he's
the
got
90s.
A God complex. I mean, really. I mean, when you boil it down, if you want to use their own medicine against them, real psychology, most of this comes down to guys wanting to feel important and loved.
Have their
which
ego
is
stroked.
Kind of sad. Kind of sad that that's where we're at.
Well, and like I would
I'm
say,
gonna move on, or I'm never gonna get through any of this. We haven't even gotten to Bob.
No, it was weird. Years ago, God spoke to me when I first got born again. He said, I want you to grow dreads. Okay, my wife, whoa.
Shut up. Like,
Why?
Now she's good. I asked her the other day, do you want me to cut them off? She goes, why? This is why. God said, I want you to grow them because I want you to break the stereotypical mindset off of the bride.
it's so silly.
long hair on men and all of that's where he's going with this.
And I almost would have agreed with him back then, but now he's lopped it all off after Winger came after him.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm a man who has long
No, weirdo. Like your dreadlocks are not like God's tool to break the stereotypical mindset off the bride of Christ. My hair. Okay, I mean, okay.
I don't.
That's about all you can really say about that.
I do understand what.
I don't. That's not even a big pet peeve with Todd, to be honest. I always liked his dreads. I wish I could have had dreads, but just was never in the cards.
Growing up Baptist, they teach you, men are not supposed to have long hair, and biblically, there are examples where men do have long hair.
So, here's a picture of Todd White receiving a prophecy from Sean Boltz. Notice the phone. I think there's a phone there, there's a phone everywhere. And he built his school from a word that Sean Boltz gave him.
Right.
Interesting.
One of the things that,
And it's been deleted.
if you
Don't worry, Mike Winger had a copy.
when I gave that word to Bizarro, Justin, okay, and the first thing he asked me, do you mind if I record it? And I found that extremely, and I know that's common in Elevation, Bethel, all of those
All of
guys.
them.
And to me, that shows me that you don't believe in the authenticity of the voice of God. And that's what I would go on is because you're saying that, oh, I need to Patricia King's another one.
Well, see, she's the evil Sith Lord that's always been with Todd since the beginning.
Yes, okay, that's a good way to look at her.
Have spoken to him. I called him about the 25 points that have recently been brought up.
25.
And his story is very, very different.
Of course.
Well,
Of course it would be.
duh. OJ's story was a bit different. Oh, but
Well, if the glove don't fit,
there's
you
a lot
must
of
have quit.
there's a lot of stories going around right now that are a bit different, like Epstein. I mean, this is just dumb. And so she spoke. Actually, I almost got to go see her speak, but I just couldn't go when I was in Pennsylvania. But I had a friend that went, and I asked him how it was, and he said, well, it was basically like, he said, you should buy my book, but if you can't afford to buy my book, here's how you can buy my book, and you should get my book. So that was the message he came home with.
A book
And
tour.
I've been to those. I went to one in Billings once where the guy that's basically was, oh, if you can't afford my book, here's why you need to afford my book, kind of thing. And it was like, if I need your book, then why don't you give it to me?
Right, like the dude when we went to NEFCOM.
Or Terry Bennett.
Yeah, or Terry.
I just today
Yep.
received a book in the mail from Terry Bennett. And
Well, actually,
Josiah
it's from
Bennett.
Josiah,
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
it?
it's both. And there's no price tag on their books. Why?
Correct.
Because he doesn't care. Al Houghton gave books away for free for years. Doug Perry, every one of his books is online for free.
Correct.
I'm not saying you can't make money off a book. I don't have a problem with making a living. I'd like to make one too.
One day we'll get
Brother
there.
John Elving, he can get his book for free, or you can buy it if you'd like to support his ministry. Either or. These people don't give it for free, ever.
And I don't mind Gary selling his.
No, it's a big book.
Yeah.
But I bet you if you talk to him and he really needed it,
He'd probably
he'd
just
probably help
email
you.
it to
Yeah,
you.
probably, if you have the space.
Yeah.
So now Todd White, this is where I think this is where he cut his hair. Todd's mother, however, was a staff member of Lifestyle Christianity, recounts that she regularly took him to church
God
growing
loved
up.
me and how much this and how much that. I didn't understand there was some kind of a God that loved me.
The reason why I have a passion to do what I do and to say what I say and to bring what I bring is because all this time in my life, not one person shared Jesus with me.
I know. I can't stand Todd.
Except for you were taking to church growing up regularly, so you can't really say that. Even if it wasn't a great church, you still would have heard something.
Well, the power of God cuts through all the bull
Right.
anyway.
Oh, here we go. Dr. Michael Brown gives cover to Todd White's leg lengthening mirror.
Disappointed. Okay, so and folks that have been watching, you also get to hear Todd's heart and see some of who he is, which is also why I've asked these other questions and some of his life experience. So, what percentage of the time, as you've prayed for the sick over the years, would you say that you actually ask if you can grab somebody's legs?
It's not every time. I was just at a place this weekend. I was at a church I was ministering in Kansas, and they said, will you go up and be with the kids? So I love to equip kids. So we got the kids baptized in the Holy.
That is not something that I would say in a modern context.
I wouldn't say this year. I mean, this was in 24, so it was a little more loosey-goosey, but now you better not mention pizza, hot dogs, grape soda.
Like with a limp or
I
something?
couldn't tell. He was just standing there.
Don't eat
So I
fast
couldn't tell.
food.
I just asked the question. It's a lot of times it's a word of knowledge. And usually it's not. Sometimes people are born with a short leg and they have a lift on their shoe.
Right.
I've had that too. I've had people with 3.5-inch short legs. They have a lift on the bottom of their shoe. They have a bottom on their shoe. They're like that. Or they have an insert inside their shoe. Or somebody's that far off in their spine that they're just out of whack. Their hip.
That's chiropractic.
And it's not a circus trick. His back's messed up. So the kid stood up and he goes, it's gone. And he
Right,
started
so
walking around checking his
the whole flaw with the circus trick thing is, maybe you could give the appearance. I have no question. You could give the appearance of a leg growing or an arm growing.
Well, actually have him stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up.
But you could have, there's no question. You could sit someone, you could pull a certain way, you could, or like, the sleeve, the arm going out. That's easily done. But no one's going to get healed. That's the big deal.
Let me tell you.
But there's several reports of these people once it all wears off and the spell's off, they're sick again and then they die or something.
The word you just said is very important. Spell. Because if you dive into the understanding of magic and witchcraft and all of that, and the scriptures,
hypnosis has a pretty dark history.
Absolutely. If you look at even what the book of James says when it says that you are accountable for every idle word you've ever spoken, right? That means your words have great power. John 1 tells you that because the whole world and everything was created by the word. So you know that there's negative consequences, but you also know that summoning and things like that is real. So what he's doing by promoting this falsehood, and the key is what you said earlier. Are they coyotes or are they wolves? Do they know what they're doing, or they don't know any better, kind of thing? Those are two different things, right? These two men know what they were doing.
Yeah, he's a con man. I mean, even in his testimony, he tells you he used to be the best con man around, and he could have sold, a book to a blind person.
And with that, though, they're hexing you. They're putting spells over you, and so when they wear off or when the magic's gone,
it's easier for the people he talks to because if they're fans, they're already got their guard down. And if you watch videos where they don't have their guard down, he's just good at tricking people
and making them take their guard down.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's what a mentalist does. If you ever watch Chris Angel Mind Freak, he did that kind of stuff all the time. Is he a real wizard? No. I don't think so.
He might
I think
be
he's
into
very
that.
good at what he does.
But he may be into that.
I don't think so, because he did a video 2 years ago where he showed you how they fake seances. And he set up one and he did it.
Right.
And then at the end, he's like, this is how it's done. Because he doesn't like those people.
What's the other dude's name? David Blaine?
Or Copperfield, but he was in the
Epstein files. Yeah.
No Chris Angel, though.
No.
Chris is actually a pretty good guy. His kid was really sick, and he's done a bunch of good stuff for
And he's not
that
very
foundation.
public anymore.
He has a residency in Vegas.
Yeah, like a permanent show.
Yeah. And he's got some other stuff coming in, an ice cream line or something weird.
That'd be cool.
I like Chris Angel. I think he's a pretty good guy, and he really seems to have a bone to pick with people that fake and make people believe that you're really talking to the dead or whatever. I don't know if he's got a personal experience with that in his past, but it seems to be a hot button for him.
Seances are real, but I will say 90% of people fake them.
Most of those are fake. The crystal ball, go get your fortune.
Yeah.
Almost all of them are just phonies.
Now, some of those people are also into the real deal.
Some of them.
Yeah.
But it's not a very high percentage.
No, but I would say that, majority of your fortune cookers, Zoltars, are going to be fake.
Years of lies, abuse, theft, and domestic violence. He's all sorts of stuff where he told people not to take their pills and then finds out he's on all sorts of medication. He's on thyroid medication. He's on some kind of heart medication. He's on TRT. I don't have an issue with any of that.
Right.
I don't. You want to take that stuff so you don't die? Great. But don't tell other people to stop taking their meds and when you're doing it. I mean, if that's what something God wants you to do, he'll tell you. He doesn't need Todd White to do it.
No.
Trust me. Oh, here's Sean Bolts giving prophetic words of knowledge to people. He is not preaching. He's giving people specific information, names, addresses, birthdays, usernames, etc. And he's just data mining. Because in this new technology age, it's not that difficult.
No.
In the old days, you had to plant people in the crowd, have questionnaires, have somebody feed you information. That's what they used to have to do. Now you can just use technology.
And of course, Peters will jump on the band.
Well, yeah. Bill Johnson, describing Sean Bolts in the foreword to Sean's book, said the time for the authentic has come. At the end of the book, Sean reveals his deep connection to Bethel and how they provide a platform for him and covered him. When victims asked Bethel to stop Sean, they said they had no authority in his life. Of course. Let's see. Sean Foyts helps cover for Sean Bolts when Foyts was part of Bolt's board and refused to stop Bolt even after everything came out in 2020. Voight's and Sean also shared many of the same board members. Bolt was even at Voight's board. They are a bunch of corrupt men.
Well, yeah, they feed each other.
And then you got Chris Valentin, who's just ugh. Never met him. None of the main guys were speaking the night that I went to Bethel. I can't remember who the guy was, but of course he wanted to pray for me, but he never touched any of the healing stuff. And I don't know how many witches were there, but it was so many. It was absolutely absurd. And they were prophesying pretty correctly.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Because they prophesied to me and it was spot on. But I knew it wasn't God. So it's interesting. There was also a guy that was in a room teaching one of the days, walking around barefoot, teaching about traveling to other planets in the spirit, which was just weird.
So astral projection.
Yeah, pretty much. Chris Valentin, chief prophet, explains he intentionally ignored and ghosted one of the victims, Sean Bolt's, alleging sexual abuse because the victim was being too persistent for justice.
Wow.
And helping process
his voice, just
like, what do you do with these words? And then the sexual allegations. What do we do? One of the victims.
What do we?
West Coast voice.
What do we do? What do we do with the allegations? We investigate it and then we lynch them. Oh,
it's that West Coast, like
metaphorically. Yeah,
I can't stand that.
I'm sorry. One of the victims of the sexual allegations reached out to me and wanted me to help. I did. I reached out to Sean on several occasions, and after a while, it just got stonewalled and it didn't go anywhere. Danny was meeting with him too.
That's another guy, Danny Silk. He runs so when they get in trouble, they send Danny Silk, and he's supposed to kind of shush it all up, fix everything, make it back,
PR.
Fix it, yeah. And even Danny Silk bailed out of, which one was it? Todd White. He was there for Todd for a little bit, and he bailed out. Todd, at this point, has been pretty much excommunicado, because he's way too hot to deal with. Everybody's bailing on him.
Oh, yeah.
And he's toast at this point.
He's gonna.
These guys, on the other hand, they're a little more slippery. They're a little more careful.
More degrees of separation.
Mike Bickle, Inner House of Prayer, has been accused of sexual abuse spanning several decades.
That's from 2013.
So this is important because Mike Bickle is central in the Kansas City hub of where the Kansas City Prophets came out of. Mike Bickle, John Paul Jackson, Bob Jones, Paul Kane, all kind of came out of this IHOP area. And Bickle has been doing this for years. I mean, he was accused in the 80s of doing this stuff, and not to mention his office with his weird double security door.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, man. Like, and yeah, he's guilty.
Oh,
highly.
Yeah, no
and then they
doubt
sent
about
this
it.
guy in to IHOP to do their cover.
Yeah.
This guy.
Point is, the monster, they're saying that IHOP needs to be reformed, and maybe that's true. And to be honest, there's a lot of stuff here that's really dysfunctional. I'll be the first one. I noticed that, and I knew that about this place before this even happened.
This guy is a cover expert. It's what he does. They send him in to make it look like he's investigating stuff, and then he cleans it up.
So he's the PR
Eric Voles. Never heard of him before this IHOP thing, but apparently he's been around.
Moles. That's what I hear.
Mike Bickle's accused of misconduct, preying on women. Yeah, okay. Oh, Mike Bickle saying most of the manifestations in the revival circles he traveled were fake. He calls the fake hamburger helper and claims it is allowed in order to get to the real.
I've had students, some of this seems fake. I go, it is. They go, what? I go, most of it's fake. I go, what do you mean? I said, I've been watching this 40 years. Most places that I've been, the majority of the manifestations are not caused by the Holy Spirit. They go, really? But I said, but the problem is, it's not all fake. And the genuine is in our midst. And I will allow a whole lot of hamburger helper to allow the genuine take place.
What?
No.
What? So you're mixing.
And the Bible says that you're not supposed to be out of order like that. That's where the middle ground's not found with charismatics and with cessationists. Go to your inbox. But it's not found in is they don't.
Really? No, I'm not going to give you that.
Well, yeah. Um,
Okay. This is where the meat and potatoes gets to. Okay, well, we can start here.
So back in the 1800s, we had what was the Second Great Awakening, and this is where dispensationalism came out of. This is where like Seventh Day Adventists, the Holy Roller movement, the new religious movements, and things like even Mormonism came out of this time frame. And so this is a time frame where the church is having all this stuff that's kind of worldly injected into it. And what we see happen as we kind of follow along this time frame is that's going to be a those are all denominational charts.
Yeah, it's not giving me the one I want. I wanted like the diagram. Maybe I need to get rid of tree. Because there's like a list of all the movements through the years.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But I don't know where it is. I can't see that. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Anyway.
So, but yes, this is where like Mormonism and stuff, this is where like a lot of the destructive doctrines that we're currently dealing with and the people like Bob Jones and them, this is what they built on, was this interjection of spiritualism, of New Age, things like the holiness movement came out of it, the snake handlers, people like that. That all comes from this time frame. And so what we see happen is we see...
if you go back before that, it connects to Azusa Street.
Well, no, Azusa Street would be after this.
Was after this?
Yes. So Azusa Street connects to this. This is the foundation for a lot of the New Age aspect of what we deal with in the church today. A lot of the destructive doctrines, Jehovah's Witness came out, Seventh-day Adventists, the Mormons, they all came out of this. And this is where you saw that huge interjection
of... Get the list of them right here.
Yeah. This is where you saw the huge interjection of science into the church and into the doctrine of the church. So when you build on this, when you get from here, by William Brannan's lifetime, right?
Start with Branham.
William Brannan's life would have been the built upon.
He was the cataclysm.
Well, he's part of the third age, Great Awakening. It would have built upon the second Great Awakening, and it would have captivated on the same sentiment. So both of these things took place around like wartime areas, and it captured American sentiment because his whole movement captures on, and all of the third Great Awakening and stuff. It
was a post-World War II healing revival.
Right. All of that stuff capitalizes on the beaten down brokenness of the war and the Depression. And you see that, or even Azusa Street was in the 30s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. The guy that he kind of modeled his off of came out of Azusa.
Right.
I can't remember what his name is off the top of my head at the moment. But so Branham, at one point, he started claiming he was the Elijah Doomsday Prophet, predicting several years that he claimed to be the end of days, while claiming to be the return of Jesus Christ. He really went off the deep end about this point. Before that, he was a little less off the deep end. His destructive extremist religious cult followed is collectively called The Message, and is a splinter group, Pentecostal Baptist Church of God.
Which that is hilarious because those two things are so far apart, but at one point they were very close.
So his family was involved with prohibition and running
bootlegging.
Liquor. Yeah. And then this is kind of interesting. William was in critical condition at the Memorial Hospital after being shot. Ku Klux Klan came to the rescue, paying his hospital bill and making an impact on his life that he would never forget. So that's kind of an interesting connection.
Which right there tells you that he was a collaborator for the sentiment of the nation from religion.
And right after that, they were exposed for taking control of the Indiana government.
Yep.
Claiming to be a Christian evangelist and becoming a choir leader. Let's see. A year later, in 1937, flood demolished the town of Jeffersonville, the once thriving casino town nicknamed Little Vegas that once attracted Al Capone. John Dillinger's suddenly was leveled by a desolate wasteland. Later that year, Branham's first wife, Hope, died from a disease also contracted in January. His daughter died shortly after. There's a lot of trauma in the guy's life, too, on top of everything.
But you can also see where God was trying to, hey.
And this is in 1944. Roy E. Davis joined forces with former Congressman William D. Upshaw in an operation under the disguise of Children's Orphanage in San Bernardino, California. Soon after the orphanage was exposed for swindling thousands of dollars from Los Angeles area and being the defendant in a highly publicized criminal lawsuit, Davis introduced Upshaw to William Branham. A year later, in 1945, William Branham began his evangelistic healing ministry, and Upshaw, who had been witnessed physically running in Washington since 1936, entered one of Branham's meetings as an invalid in a wheelchair. When Upshaw was healed from his bedridden condition, Branham's fame in the faith healing business quickly spread. So we're not off to a great start. But it's Little Hamburger Helper's okay, right?
No. I mean, I like Hamburger Helper, but not in this context.
In 1947, William Branham had embellished many events in his life story, removing details that would raise skepticism and adding supernatural aspects. He started claiming he had several conflicting commissions by God and introduced a tragic but partially fictional story of his life. So it just kind of builds and keeps building on his story, really. Let's see. Upshaw's healing was very powerful. Branham. And then that's kind of, this Roy E. Davis guy kind of fades out of Branham's campaign, it appears.
But even into the end, in the 60s, he was avidly against the civil rights movement.
And then during the civil rights, he started leaning towards the KKK roots. And he began claiming that Martin Luther King was a communist and was communist inspired, which jury's up. African Americans shouldn't forfeit their rights, or African Americans should forfeit their rights, which is crazy, and be satisfied in the state they are in, and that high breeding was an unpardonable sin. It's crazy. So he really
leaned
went
full
crazy.
in, and then that Roy Davis guy, after his death and after the investigation into the Kennedy assassination with the Warren Commission, revealed that he was the original Knights of was a Grand Dragon, Imperial Grand Dragon of the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. And so you look like Branham was directly tied to like the extremist white supremacy side of things. And I would say today, like, okay, so this last paragraph is important. William Branham was directly responsible for igniting the mystery of Jim Jones in Indianapolis from 1956 through 57. Branham and his campaign team held meetings with Jones at the People's Temple and the Caddy Tabernacle, and Branham held private consultations with members from the People's Temple. There are deep concerns when you compare Branham's message to Jim Jones' message. Branham-focused communes in Prescott, Arizona, and colonial Dingadad have exposed the sexual molestation, abuse, and rape that have been hidden behind closed doors. It was Branham's version of Joel's Army's manifest Sons of God theology that empowered Jones. Branham's message cult following has been labeled a destructive and heretical cult by many apologetists and cult watch groups, such as the Watchman Fellowship. So now we go to Bob Jones.
And they have receipts for everything they cited.
Yes.
If you have
and even government documents, which is hilarious.
Ironically, this is the William Branham Historical Research. I don't know who these guys are, but they have done a lot of work. Then we get to this guy. Ooh, Bob Jones. You know that Michael, he's always in a bad mood. He got coal black eyes and long black hair.
Looks like somebody's trying to find Sarah Branham, like whoever runs this website.
I don't know what that's about. It's kind of intriguing. I'm assuming they're trying to get some information, maybe.
Must be a granddaughter or something.
Something, yeah.
So Bob Jones, he's like the main dude from the Kansas City Prophets.
Yeah, he shows up on the scene after Mike Bickle's kind of starting out. And
oh, no. He'd be before Mike, wouldn't he?
Well, yeah, but he shows up with Mike. Let's see. He was kind of involved. He kind of founded the NAR movement.
Oh, he's definitely considered one of the main guys for the NAR movement.
According to his testimony, he spent 20 years living in complete abandonment to sin. His life story eerily similar to William Branham's life during the latter rain revivals, including wild women and liquor smuggling. Branham helps his father produce whiskey for liquor tycoon Otto Wathen during Prohibition, supplying to Cincinnati and Chicago mob with illicit liquor. So Branham was into this too. Jones claimed that he was demon-possessed and eventually landed in a mental institution when he began hearing voices from God, which he was similar to Branham's description of his own battle with mental health. So he's kind of copying Branham's story, which is interesting. According to Mike Bickle, leader of Kansas City Fellowship and founder of IHOP KC, Bob Jones played an
integral.
Yeah. And defining the first 18 months of IHOP KC, Bickle convinced his cult of personality to believe that God had separated Bob Jones for a spiritual purpose during his years as a young boy in Arkansas. Much like William Branham, fictional life story accounts told during the latter rain revivals about his so-called supernatural youth experiences in Kentucky. According to Census Bureau reports, Branham was raised in Indiana from age 3. So there's that. In March of 1983, Bob Jones met with Mike Bickle to convince him of these alleged visions, claiming that he would soon be part of a movement that would have greater signs, wonders, and miracles that was presented in the book of Acts in the New Testament. According to Jones, the movement he was starting would redefine Christianity, and a new order of Christians would emerge. Jones convinced Bickle that he had started seeing visions concerning the new order in 1974, and that he had seen nearly 100 visions and spiritual dreams about the new order of the years leading up to the meeting in 1983. According to Bickle, those visions were in a technicolor, and Jones' descriptions of the new order were like the first time you see Star Wars.
That's insane.
Interestingly, Bickle initially believed that Jones' meeting was his own alleged vision of a false prophet. That was largely due to Bickle's inside knowledge that Jones had been accused of being involved in the occult, and that Jones had been known to practice curses upon his enemies.
This goes back to what I said.
Like the similarities between Jones and Branham in the life story accounts, cursing or hexing one's enemies was a practice commonly used in latter rain by William Branham. Branham claimed to have the power to paralyze, give disease, cripple, or maim those who questioned his authority. However, evidence suggests that Branham's claims of cursing, such as the man from Windsor, were complete fabrications. So, by Mike Bickle's own acknowledgement, whether it's real or not, because it's hard to tell with that guy, that he was told by the Lord that there was going to be a false prophet that would come to him, and he believed it was Bob Jones, and then he said, "Meh."
Well, and that was his testing point.
Yeah, he was probably already compromised at that point anyway, but he had a chance. Do the right thing. Mike Bickle said, "So I knew instantly the first minute he prophesied his acceptance, so I knew he was the false prophet. No question in my mind."
But yet,
Mike
Bickle,
Bickle.
You went back on it.
And his whole prophecies have all been didn't work out. And then when they look up Farmer's Almanac stuff about this rain stuff that he talked about didn't happen, then the message gets tweaked over the years. 10 years go by, it fits better now, it works now.
Right.
And they just keep tweaking it and changing it. And then Bob Jones, it pretty much everything comes out of there at that point. Months after John Paul Jackson began spreading the word about his vision of a stock market crash in 1988, Bob Jones claimed to have had the same vision. Shocking. Jones warned people to pull their money out of the market because it would soon fall below 400 points. It was a brilliant strategy considering the end of days theology. Those who had pulled their money out of the market would then be able to invest it in a growing movement. When the market did not crash, both John Paul Jackson and Bob Jones should have been labeled false prophets. However, with the precedent set by Branham, they simply shrugged their shoulders and went after the next prophetic claim. Now, I'm not saying even if they're genuine, that they can get it wrong. They can be wrong, and that doesn't mean you're a false prophet. And I don't know about John Paul Jackson. I've always thought he was a pretty decent guy.
I don't know enough about him.
He's dead now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the womb for 12 months. Documented that one. And he gave a prophetic thing called the perfect storm. And it's still pretty relevant. So I don't know about John Paul. I mean, maybe he just got it wrong. I don't know. Him, on the other hand, obviously he just copied what he said. I mean, that's pretty evident. It's basically what it says. Over time, it became clear that Bob Jones was attempting to recreate Branham's healing and prophetic ministry from the year 1947 through 1965. From 36 through 45, Branham developed a stage persona that included the alleged visions commissioned by God. Let's see. there's some weird. I've heard a lot of Bob Jones stories through the years
Oh, yeah.
too. All sorts of strange stuff, especially out of Chris Valentin. He used to be his driver. Do you know that?
No, I did not.
He drove Bob Jones all the time from the airports and stuff.
And the point
and here Jones worked closely with a member of Brandon's team, Paul Kane, who's done all sorts of terrible things at the end, and probably during his life too. And not to mention, he didn't help Lonnie Frisbee for anything.
No.
End times warriors would arise to execute God's judgment on earth, which they kind of went away from this spiel anyway. They don't talk about judgment.
No.
But it appears there's like, this is interesting. The manifest sons of God doctrine was the most significant by far, introduced in the early years of the latter rain. According to this doctrine, the army of bugs described in the Old Testament book of Joel by the plagued Israel was interpreted to mean an end times army of spiritual warriors that would claim dominion over government. In the latter rain implementation of the doctrine, it was aligned with Christian identity to overthrow what identity leaders claim to be a Jewish-controlled United States government.
There may be truth
We
to
can
that.
come back to that in a second. Branham, as well as many other leaders of Christian identity, believed the final battle would be the result of Jews uniting against Jesus, ending in a battle wherein white and colored will fight again. Branham manipulated his cult of personality to believe the Son of Man would be manifested among the church in the form of supernaturally empowered Christians, and the single prophet, the so-called messenger of the age, would be the human vessel in which God himself would be manifested. Jones and Kane resurrected the doctrine to become a central theme in IHOP KC. In Jones' version, elite group end time warriors would arise and execute God's judgment.
And so, like, the partial truth of that was the first half. The second half is when they say that it's going to be coloreds and whites, and then it also says the Christ consciousness and the it's actually a Kabbalistic Jewish doctrine that the Messiah exists. The conscience of the Spirit of the Messiah is going from generation to generation until a man is deemed fit to fulfill the role of Messiah. And so that doctrine is a Kabbalistic New Age type of doctrine that has its roots in other faiths too. The first half of that I do believe has some truth to it, but we know that the devil knows things too, right? And he can prophesy as well. And
do you know much about this Christian identity thing?
Christian identity is just Christian nationalism.
Okay.
So it's just the
So it looks like Branham and Jones and these guys were all kind of working with that ideology.
Yes.
And there's government ties with these guys too, which is kind of interesting. A little bit anyway. There's enough that there's a connection.
Oh yeah.
That's about all I got on that.
Yeah, I mean, well,
and, I mean, you can
have to open your Twitter, but there was a few things that
you can track more of this stuff too. There's a guy before Branham that was doing similar, but he didn't. One of the guys didn't claim to be a Christian. He was just a faith healer and into spiritism, and that's kind of where this movement started. It was with that guy in the I can't remember 1600s.
He said 1888,
1888 or something like that. The one guy was really long time ago. I can't remember what his name was,
which makes sense though, even if it was that time frame, because it all goes
this
back.
This guy, Valentine Great Rakes.
Yeah,
you ever heard of this guy?
Oh, back in the 1600s.
How do you spell his last name?
Oh shoot, Great.
Got it.
Rakes.
This guy.
Or just open up that read more. That's pretty good descriptions.
Healing career is we're looking at. Became known for his faith healing around 1662, claiming to cure the king's evil scrofula and other ailments by gently stroking the affected areas with his hands. His reputation grew rapidly, attracting patients from across Ireland and England. He was invited to London by King Charles II, that's important, oh, concern it, and observed by notable figures such as Robert Boyle, founder of the Royal Society. Through the scientific explanation for his cures remained elusive. His methods reported alleviated conditions like gout,
rheumatism, convulsions,
chronic pain, earning him the nickname the Stroker. That's not a good nickname, buddy.
He fell into disrepute though because of the claims of witchcraft and necromancy that were following him around. It says, but he definitely inspired the faith healers of the next century. It seems.
And if you look into him, he was basically kicked out of Ireland. Like they were like, "No, you're not allowed to." They told him he wasn't allowed to lay hands on people because he wasn't licensed. Apparently, he had to be licensed, which is wild. But I don't necessarily agree with that either. But
it's the crown.
They were like, "Let's get rid of him."
It's the crown.
And then he went to England, and King Charles was like, "Yeah, you come here, keep doing all your stuff. Actually, I want you to come kind of work with me."
He's the one that lost his head too.
Yeah. But this is as far back as I've been able to trace it right now. But I mean, this is pretty far back. I mean, this is really one of the original dudes that was doing this stuff. And just through the years, they just Christianized it, like Constantine. And it works better because, unfortunately, a lot of Christians are dopes.
Well, sheep aren't the brightest critters.
Right. But this is where it goes back to.
Yes.
And there was another guy after him that kind of...
That was the 1888 one.
Yeah, I can't remember what that guy's name.
Send it to you in a text.
I said a lot of things. George Milner Stephen.
Yeah.
That's the guy, I believe.
From the 1800s.
1812, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was another, like a spiritist. He wasn't a Christian either. And there was another guy after him, Alexander Dowie. That's it.
Dowie, I've heard of.
And he's listed on here. And Dowie is the one that has a more of a direct connection to Branham and Bob Jones than these other old ones. But I'm pretty sure Dowie got his ideas from the Valentine dude. So he was a Scottish evangelist and faith healer who ministered in Australia and the United States. He founded the city of Zion, Illinois, and the Christian Catholic Apostolic Church. Dowie claimed to be the spirit of Elijah. Now, see, this is a common thread, this spirit of Elijah thing. And that's interesting. I don't necessarily know what to do with it, but it's reoccurring. And that is a connection that I think that's where these guys kind of started to get their ideas, was from this guy, because he's the first one that records saying he was the spirit of Elijah.
Right.
So he takes what the Valentine guy did and Christianizes it.
I know quite a bit about him because of
Dowie?
Zion, Illinois. Yeah. Like the whole thing was founded, and the way he ran it was as a theocracy.
He was against Freemasonry.
Yeah.
But that's because he was involved with Catholics.
No.
Isn't it?
You keep reading it, and it was, he goes on and he talks about when he began claiming the Roman Catholic Church had polluted springs. He was trying to be a restorer because all Catholic means is universal. So he's trying to be the restorer of, that's why it says Christian Catholic Apostolic Church. And in Zion, Illinois, that church still exists. It's a white church with a gold doors and stuff. It's weird. But he was a spiritualist, and when you look into him, he's more New Age than Christian.
Well, he's a self-proclaimed spiritualism.
Yeah. But he traveled all over the British Empire too, Australia, India, things like that. And yeah, he was a weird dude. Zion in Illinois is a weird city as well to just look into. We could build on that one day. That'd be fun. He definitely, he acknowledged how weak-minded humans were and things like that.
And it seems like this is where kind of it really goes back to, is this guy. And then he relocated to Chicago because I don't think it was going well. After the series of meetings, a handful of people claimed they were cured of various diseases and gave written testimonies to the Oakland Tribune. The Tribune published these testimonies alongside an evaluation of the healing by local ministers who claimed they had examined some of the healed to find them not healed at all, which I don't know why ministers are the ones examining for medical.
Right.
We should probably get a doctor, but whatever.
Well, if you look, this all
brief period of time passed, and Dowie's miracles were found to be lacking in actual healing. The public opinion of the healer from Australia began to quickly change. By January of 1889, Dowie found himself unable to gain an audience at many of the churches in Oakland. According to the newspapers, Dowie's ways did not suit some of those who were good Christians. His public opinion worsened when one of Miss Georgina Wyatt, a constant attendant of the Dowie meeting, became a raving maniac.
Which to me includes the witchcraft and the demon stuff. In this section right here, you'll see what I was trying to point out. If you notice with all of these people we're talking about, because we talk about spiritual dominions a lot, excuse me, California and Chicago are very related.
Yeah.
So SoCal and Illinois and Chicago are so connected. Even in this man's ministry, right? He goes back to Illinois. It's just weird because you can tell that the devil used certain locations to really promote these things, because huge chunk of his ministry, quote unquote, takes place in Illinois, in Chicago area, because the church winds Zion's in, fairly close, but still.
Oh, this is great. This is just great. Ahead of the faith healers in the country and Canada, the newspaper journalist took the story and printed it in May 23rd, 1891, issued the Chicago Tribune. At the end of the article, he jokingly asked the public, "By the way, is there not a state board of health that looks after physicians?" By 1891, Dowie gave himself the self-named title President of the International Divine Healing Association.
Right. We're just going to give ourselves names.
Well, you got to be able to prove that they're real, so you might as well just make yourself the guy.
And what this does, keep going on, what this does is show you the connection, right? Like go to down 4 lines, 5 lines. One more, 2, 3 more. Right there. Stop. Read that line.
This one?
Yep. From not the thus, from he. From in the middle of that sentence. Read from there.
He then took a collection and gathered what was assumed to be a large sum of money. At 6:30 in the evening, 27 of the persons attending who claimed to have been healed met in the green room of the Carnegie Hall, gathered to receive instructions from Reverend Dowie. Dowie integrated the healed, screening them to confirm that their testimony to the newspapers would be in his favor.
Okay, so this kind of goes with the healing, like we're going to formulate it, we're going to standardize it, and this is how these meetings, interactions. So this is kind of where that foundation, like you're saying, for IHOP came from.
Yep. And then this physician. But when a physician examined the situation, he declared that he was greatly concerned with Dowie's mental stability. His mind, like others, is so full of ego that he cannot come into a harmonious touch with the world. He really thinks he possesses the power of curing, or as he words it, that he can cure with the help of God. These people who tragically throw away their crutches are not cured. A man, for instance, may suffer from hysterical paralysis and being worked up in a state of frenzy by Dr. Dowie's words. He stir up all his latent energy and will be by a supreme effort dispense with artificial means of support when his enthusiasm
deserts him. However, a relapse must occur. In the same way with other maladies, the great French physicians have temporarily banished pain by hypnotizing their subject. If we examine this matter much closely, we will see how closely divine healing is to hypnotism. I have no doubt that the doctor is honest, but that he performs what some despict old ladies think is simply ridiculous. Yes, I would most assuredly like to examine Dr. Dowie's head. I would prove, I am certain, a most interesting study. That's a very doctor way to write that.
He's crazy. That's what the doctor's thinking.
So, I mean, he continued to travel for years before he set up the city of Zion. And he went to these churches, and eventually people stopped letting him. But the places, what I see in these with men like John Alexander Dowie and things is I see where God used them as the seed to sow the division that we have recently dealt with in the Methodist and the Pentecostal churches, right? These places where they crept in and they began to poison the well. And so, I mean, he founded Zion in I think the late 1800s, but
he was operating a hospital without a license.
Yeah.
Because he was healing people. He might have actually been a true believer. I mean, he might have been a true believer in himself.
That's what I'm saying.
Because, I mean, that's a That's quite a racket.
But
to
I mean, if he was
open
into
a hospital,
if he was into the occult, and
or
all
he's
of
doing
that,
something else, yeah.
then it makes sense, you know. And his commune, like
Zion Temple, Zion College,
school, university, library, all of it, like the whole city is laid out, and it's very similar to what Joseph Smith and Brigham Young had in mind for Salt Lake City.
He ended up going to court quite frequently over this hospital thing.
Oh yeah,
civil suits for malpractice, even death. Dowie and his elders found themselves in and out of court systems. In August 1899, Miss Henrika Bratz and D.C. Holmes, elder in the Zion Commune, were arrested after the death of Miss Annetta Flanders. They were arrested on charges of criminal negligence and malpractice after Flanders, who was suffering from blood poisoning, died of lack of treatment. The trial that ensued was nationally publicized, feeding the frenzy of a national grip with the interesting saga.
and then later on, he went on to claim
Even the New York Times noted that Dowie was untouchable. Laws do not reach him.
he went on to think people were going to kill him and things like that. He wanted $1 million. He called for people to give him money of $1 million in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And then at the end, this strategic move turned out to be the highly profitable from a financial standpoint and a public relations standpoint. Shortly after claiming to be the reincarnation of the prophet Elijah, Dowie's wealth and popularity skyrocketed. Newspapers all across the nation published full-length pages, front-page spreads, and famous divine healer from Zion, Illinois, who made a record profit. Back in this day, it's a boatload of money, $15 million in just 10 years. Some soon labeled him as the richest man in the West. Interestingly, the timeline for Dowie's highly publicized ministry and successful establishment of the holy city of Zion coincides directly with Frank Sanford's vision to establish his own. As Dowie's breaking ground for the Zion city, Sanford began claiming to see visions of angelic beings. John Alexander Dowie began claiming to be the reincarnation of Elijah in 1901, about the time Sanford made the same proclamation in his Holy Ghost and Us Society. And like Sanford, Dowie asked his cult victims to forfeit all of their positions and surrender to his full authority. And that's what it is these guys are the foundation of what we're dealing with today, from a charismatic perspective. Next week, on our next broadcast, we will talk about some of these other dudes, and we're going to tie in some more of what's going on.
The only guy I didn't get to is this guy.
Yeah.
So this guy also was a big part of it, and he was involved with Branham as well.
Oh yeah, and the Klan.
So about time to go. But yeah, that's what it is today.
Well, thanks, Bob, and everyone else who tuned in. If anyone else did, we're still figuring it out. We'll figure it out. So I like it.
Yeah.
Till
All right,
next time.
everybody.